My name's Michael Holmes and I'm the Executive Vice President and Chief Operating Officer for Oceana Gold. And it is my great privilege to introduce to you the Lead as a Coach program. This program now has been running for around about a year and a half, 2 years, and it was introduced to us to reinforce our leadership behaviour, which is constructive and effective and efficient. The leadership program that we've got is building on our vision. It's underpinned by our values and it's aligned with our strategic objectives. The reason we've chosen this program, Leaders Coach, with our facilitators Point Ahead, is because it's an innovative way of training leadership. And the way that we're looking at it, it is just not a 1 or 2 day sit down in a session discussion. This session will go over 23 weeks. And so you'll have your initial day, which is today, and then following this, you'll be required to take some time out of a week to go and join a session where we will be continually reinforcing the leadership model that has been developed with Point Ahead. For us, and for me personally, it's a way of reinforcing, it's a way of continually understanding what the requirements are. Numerous times I've been on a leadership program where they give you the 2 day or a 1 day course and then give you a big chunk or a big book to read, a big chunk of information or a big book to read, and you go away and say, well, that was great. 1 week into it, you sort of said, oh, that was a very good course. 1 month into it, you say, what did we do in the course? 1 year later, you've got no idea. So what we want to do with this course and with the participants is to reinforce a positive, constructive behaviour for leadership. So when we look at leadership and the leadership bar, we've got, as you can see here, a line. We call that above the line behaviour and below the line behaviour. So when we're looking at a constructive behaviour, which is above the line behaviour, it's a behaviour that is a pro-choice. It's a behaviour that is a proactive behaviour. It's a behaviour that takes responsibility. It takes action. It's accountable for those actions. So those behaviours, it follows a behaviour of respect, the respect that we have for ourselves and for our workforce and for the communities in which we operate. It's a behaviour that is working with integrity, and it's a behaviour that has the understanding of what the requirements are on the team. So the behaviour that we have aligns exceptionally well, and this constructive behaviour that we're looking for aligns exceptionally well with our values and the Oceana Gold values. If we have a look at the converse of that, so what behaviour don't we want? And that's the below the line behaviour. So this behaviour that we don't want, we're looking at blame. It wasn't somebody else's fault. Denial, no, it wasn't me. We're looking at behaviour that is a justifying behaviour. Well, I did it because of these reasons, or because of the situation I was in. Or the worst behaviour that we've got is the behaviour where you just quit and you don't do it. And these behaviours are basically an avoidance behaviour. So it's basically the anti-behaviours to our values. It's not taking action, it's not being responsible for that action, it's not taking accountability, it's not working with respect or integrity, it's not owning up to the issues, it's not involving the team. So for me, working above the line is exceptionally important for us, and it's exceptionally important for Oceana Gold, and it drives a constructive, value-enhancing behaviour. So the pathway and the reasons we're working with these behaviours is all guided by our vision. So we want to be a mid-tier multinational gold producer, giving superior returns to our shareholders and stakeholders. And developing in a safe and sustainable manner and operating in a safe and sustainable manner. We want to be the partner of choice. We want to be the mining partner of choice. We want to be the gold company of choice, and we want to be the employer of choice, and particularly the employer of, how do you become an employer of choice? We have to value the workforce you have. And this course is the demonstration of the value that we have for our leaders. So that vision is underpinned by our values, and the values is just the right way of doing things and the Oceana way of doing things. So as I mentioned before, our values of respect, integrity, teamwork, innovation action and accountability. These are all very important value sets for us, and they make up the way in which we do. So our constructive, positive leadership is underpinned by those values. If we have a look at one of the value set, and I'll just focus on one, and this is a good understanding that a value also has an outcome. It also has an action, it also has an outcome, and we have to take accountability for that. So if we have a look at the value of respect, we commit to the long-term well-being of a company, its employees, and the communities and environments in which we operate. The behavioural set is important that we do there. We are serious about safety and the safety of others is a behavioural set of respect. We care for all our company as asset, which is another important value. We operate in culturally sensitive ways. We're operating globally, and so we actually have to understand the culturally sensitive ways of all the areas in which we operate. But the most important thing about it is we have a value, we have a definition, we have the behaviour set underneath that value, and those behavioural sets are for the CEO all the way down through the organisation. So we all have a behavioural set aligned with our values. And if you consider some of the outcomes that that behavioural set of respect has, for example, one of the outcomes is we consider others' ideas, we have team participation, we provide assistance, we help others feel important and worthwhile. So by demonstrating the behaviours that we have of the values set that we do, we actually have a very positive and constructive outcome. And this course today and then over the next 23 weeks will be reinforcing that value set. The pathway to get to our vision is through our strategic objectives. We are underpinned by our value set, but to get to our vision, we have put a framework together called strategic objectives, which I'm sure you all know about, and I'm sure that you work with them daily. So it's how we actually bring our daily activities into our strategic objectives. So as a company, we have 9 strategic objectives. Strategic objective 1, as we all know, is about health and safety. Strategic objective 2 is about the environment and working within that environment. Strategic objective 3 is about our communities and working with our communities. Strategic objective 4 is about government and government relations. And strategic objective 5 is about the human values and human resources that we have. And our strategic objective 5 is to realise the potential of our people to build a high performance organisation. So if you have a look at these first 5 strategic objectives, they're more around your sustainable development strategic objectives. The next 4 strategic objectives we have is more around how we operate and how we grow the company as well. So we maximise the value of our mineral resource, plant and equipment is strategic objective 6. Strategic objective 7 is about adding value and value enhancement through cost improvements and continuous improvement. Strategic objective 8 is about growing the business, ensuring a pipeline of quality projects, and strategic objective 9 is wrapping all that up into a common Oceana framework. So the course that's being delivered today not only achieves a lot of the ticks in the boxes of strategic objectives, but particularly in strategic objective 5, the human values, human resources strategic objective, and strategic objective 9, a common framework. This course has been delivered over a few courses in the Philippines now, and it's been delivered to Australia and New Zealand. And there'll be a second course that we'll be delivering to Australia and New Zealand at the end of the year. And then with the inclusion of the operations in North America, Hale, we'll be expanding it to that. So when you're looking at a common framework, the lead as a coach fits into that common framework. It's a common framework of ensuring that we are adding value and there is value being gained by our employees on improving the leadership skills. So strategic objective 5. So where does this fit into strategic objective 5? So the general managers and the operating team and my direct reports got together and we said, well, what's important? What are the actions we want to achieve? What are the actions we achieved in 2015? What are the actions we want to achieve in 2016? And what are the actions, will these actions be sustainable, and how will we continue them in 2017 and beyond? And we put together a group of strategic actions underneath our strategic objectives. And as you can see, One of them was the key talent development. And so with the key talent development, what we've identified was continue with the Leaders Coach training. We understood the importance of the Lifestyles Inventory, LSI, which we'll be doing at the end of this course, and what that means for participants. Continue with the Manager Once Removed process. And other ones, with the employee engagement you've been involved with, it's ensuring that we have the quarterly presentations and continuing on with that. Having a look at the PMP, the Performance Management Program completion, and develop, implement and share innovations. And so when you're actually having a look at this, innovations and ideas is an important value that we have, and so you can see the values are being infused within the strategic objectives and actions that we're doing. But also this course, as I mentioned before, is an innovative way of actually doing this training. So you can see now that the value that we have and that alignment that we have from why we're doing it, because we want to get to the vision of Oceana Gold, and how that gets demonstrated through the actions of our strategic objectives, how that gets demonstrated through the values, and then those values then how we then deliver on our vision. And so that's an important alignment. It's important that everybody understands it. So what you're doing today, what you do in your daily activities, has an impact on the company's future. And this is a very clear path. And one of the other ways we'll have a look at is what we do as leaders has an impact. It has an impact on the behaviour. A good constructive behaviour drives a good, constructive, positive, efficient, effective culture. And that culture drives results. And those results then are demonstrated with the ability to buy additional operations, like we did last year with Waihi, like we did last year with Hale. Have a look at some potential resources in the future, like we have with GSV and New Legacy. And that is the only reason we've been able to do that is by the driving of that constructive behaviour, the driving of results, being action orientated and accountable for those results, which enables us to then grow the company. And once we grow the company, that means then there's a lot more opportunities for everybody. So it's very important, and I think it's exceptionally worthwhile, the leadership program that we are in. You can see the reasons why we are doing it, and why we truly believe, and I truly believe, that it can be a game changer. I've seen the results already of the previous cohorts that have been run and the previous sessions that have been run, and I have to say I'm exceptionally pleased with those results. I see it in the different behaviours, the constructive behaviours, in the accountability for actions taken, in the driving of results orientated discussions. I see that in all those behaviours being demonstrated by people that have attended the course. So it is very important to myself, to the team, to the Exco, to the board, and to the growth of this company. So I wish you all the very best in this course today and for the next 23 weeks. Please, it's important that it won't take too much of your time out, and it's important that you actually do attend all the sessions in the next 23 weeks, and that has been some of the fantastic feedback that we've got from the previous courses. I wish you all the best, and I look very much forward to the differences and the improvements and the excitement that comes from the understanding of how to become a more constructive and effective leader. Thank you very much.